welcome. Today we're going to have a look at the latest wireless earphones that are available so you can listen to your music on the go without any need to get tangled up in wires. This comparison review will look at the original Apple Airpods. These are the well-known brand that have been available now for a couple of years, so we'll have a quick overview of what they can do and we'll compare them to our own unbranded T7 headphones. So without further ado, let's get started with the look and feel. So you can see, to start with, they're pretty similar. The size of the cases is very similar. The Apple Airpods are a few millimeters smaller in terms of the box size, but that really is it. There's not a lot of difference when we go on to look at the actual earphones themselves. If we get one of each out here, we can see that again there's a slight difference, but not a lot. So here, the actual heads of the two earphones are virtually identical in size. The stem is probably about 2 millimeters longer on the T7 than the Apple, and probably about 1 millimeter wider. So as you can see there's not a great deal of difference. They both got connections on the end for recharging them. They both fit into their boxes and are held in via magnets. So there's no difference there, with a magnetic, a nice click and feel to the lid. The one thing worth pointing out, obviously the Apple ones only come in the white colour. For some reason Apple don't do any other colour other than white, presumably for their branding, I would guess, whereas these T7s are available in a choice of 2 colours. So the standard white, and they also come in a clean, clear, crisp black colour as well. So if you want a choice of colours, the T7's the one to go for, because you get that in black, whereas the Apple one you can't get, you can only get in white. In terms of compatibility, obviously the Apple one works with all the latest Apple products. Anything iOS 10 and above, I believe, will work fine, but they will not work with anything else. So if it's not Apple, even if it's a laptop, whether it's a smartphone on Android, whatever it might be, they will only work with those. The T7s, on the other hand, will work with all the same Apple products that this does. Certainly the latest versions of the iWatch, the iPad, or iPhone version 5 and above, and the latest iOSs, it works with all of those, and it will also work with Android devices, so your Samsung smartphones, etc. And also laptops with the latest Bluetooth in. There should be no problem with any of that. So in terms of the compatibility, the T7 is the clear winner there, obviously because it's not restricted to Apple only products. In terms of pairing and the signal, the process is very simple for both. To be fair, the Apple has a slight advantage. So literally, as soon as you take them out of the box, they automatically just pair and connect, and they come on straight away. So you put them in your ears, you'll hear a little beep to let you know that they're active, which is really clever technology, I think. The T7s are similar. They're not quite... you have to press a button basically. So to pair these, you have to hold that little button on the top there. If I hold it there for 3 seconds, you'll see it flash. That's it. So with the Apple ones, you need to do nothing. With the T7s, you just have to press one button. And this one button controls most things. So if you get calls coming in, you just press it once to answer. If you want to skip on a song, you can just double click the button. So pretty much similar functionality, but the Apple's slightly slicker. And that it automatically turns on and off. This one you have to press the button on it, but not a great deal of difference between the two. In terms of the signal, the Apple is brilliant. There's no dropouts at all. It really is good. The T7s are also very good. However, they're probably not quite as strong in the signal department. So you need to make sure that there's a clear path between the earphones and your device. So if you're listening onto a smartphone, for example, you just need to make sure that it's fairly close by in your right-hand pocket or on a table or whatever it might be. As long as there's nothing blocking the way, it'll work absolutely fine. Next, moving on to the sound quality. Very little to choose between the two. They're obviously both designed quite similar. The Apple ones go slightly louder than you get on the T7s. They both have a built-in microphone, so if I show you here, there's a titsy little hole in the back, which I believe it is actually strong enough to have a microphone in, so you can chat away. The volume is a little bit louder on the Apple again than it is on the T7, so if you're in a busy, crowded environment on the phone all the time, it can be a little bit hard to hear. But if you're just making or taking an occasional call, it's perfectly adequate for that. We've tested it a few times. and the voices come through quite loud and clear on that as well. So sound quality is really good. For music, the bass is awesome. The trebles and the mid ranges are really clear as well. I couldn't recommend them highly enough. Probably not quite the quality you get out of a massively more expensive brand earphones, but for wireless option, they really are the best that we found so far. Battery life. Battery life is brilliant in the Apples. They last about 4 or 5 hours continuously. You then just drop them into the case, and again they'll charge very quickly and give you 4 or 5 charges, so you've got over 20 hours of time there. The T7s, the battery's not quite as strong as it is in the Apple, so it takes typically an hour and a half to charge them, and you'll get about 2.5 hours listening time with each burst before you have to put them back into the case. Again, the case can take 4 or 5 charges, so you're looking at sort of 10 to 12 hours if you take it away for the weekend in between actually charging the case, which is pretty good. Finally, price. They may look very similar. Obviously, Apple does have a bit of a monopoly when it comes to these things, so their price is $160 per unit. That is also £160. Unfortunately, the exchange rate they give is not very good. So you're looking at £160 for the Apple ones. The T7s retail at £100. So there's a significant difference in price there between the two. What you will find with the Apple products is that they very rarely in sale, so Apple control the prices and their retailers very tightly who actually can supply them, so it's very hard to actually get them under £160. The T7s we are currently selling for $79.95, so it is literally half the price of these. So in summary, they're both brilliant products. The sound quality is really good. They both provide great music to listen to without the tie of wires to get in the way and tangle you up. There's a real sense of freedom. They're both incredibly comfortable to wear. They both stay in your ears all the time. You can run, do sports, whatever it might be. There's absolutely no issue there at all. They're very comfortable. You actually forget you're wearing them. So very little to choose. The main difference is in the price. As I say, you could get 2 of these for the price of 1 of these, so maybe black and a white one for the same price as a single one of the Apple original. So plenty to think about there. I hope you've enjoyed this review today.